you guys amazed and thankful that you are here right now? Because I'm sure you're saying to yourself that this is really worthy of your time. Am I correct? Yes, ang hina naman. Yes, of course, no? You're destined to be here, to listen to their stories, to be inspired by our speakers. So, thank you for choosing to be here, for your decision that I think this would, who knows, would change your life forever, di ba? Kung ano man yung mga natutunan natin dito. So again, I'd like to thank our speakers. May I call you Miss Rebecca? Is it Hannah? Miss Reese, right? And Anna, okay. Gosh, mali yung ano. I'm listening, don't worry about it. I was taking notes when you were speaking. No? So, my apologies for that. Okay. You guys are so empowered and we're very blessed to have you here in the stage. And I know you all have your own challenges. You have your own struggles. You, as you said earlier, Reese, it wasn't really, 18 years is a long journey. No? And you will never, you cannot be here and telling us your success stories without you having to go through all the challenges. When you are feeling like frustrated already because you feel like there's the challenges are too hard for you when you are with your advocacy, anong mga hugot niyo? What would inspire you to keep on going back and to keep on doing what you're doing now? Yeah. Who wants to start?
So ano yung hugot? Anong mga hugot? Okay. It changed throughout the years actually. Since I've been doing this for 18 years, since I was 21, 22. So, pwede nyo na i-math yung age. Yeah, since I was 22. So it has changed. Before, I thought the motivation was, oh, if we get awards, we're doing something good because we're getting awards, so people are recognizing what we're doing. Or when we get featured in articles, we're like, okay, we're good, we're doing what's right. And then after a while, because you won't always get the awards, you won't always get the features, you have to rely on something deeper. So I was like, okay, I'll go back to my why. Like what I mentioned earlier. I'll think about the artisans, the environment, the world, diba, ang laki. But if I'm gonna be super honest, it's also not always motivating. You won't always be motivated. So my hack is discipline. When I don't have motivation, discipline takes the wheel. Because no matter what happens, things need to get done. So I shouldn't wait for motivation to get things done. I should just be disciplined to do it until I find the motivation again. And you know what happens is when you act yourself out of a hole, like you just gawa ka lang ng gawa, action ka lang ng action, it becomes the motivation in and of itself. So, nagbago siya throughout the years. But now I'm happy and more calm because I know that even if there are times when I don't feel like doing things, I know I'm still gonna do it because I'm disciplined.
Sometimes also yung discipline, it becomes your way of life already, you know? And parang you just keep on going because it's become part of you. It's you already, no? So regardless of your motivation, it just keeps on going. Thank you, Reese. Miss Hannah.
I think for me, it's going back to my why. And so why I'm doing what I'm doing. There's an entrepreneurial aspect to it, but it's also being able to advocate health and wellness to the community. Yeah. And it's also for me, it's also being able to use the talents that God has given me to be a better role model in the community as well. Yeah. So since I always like to tell people, prevention is always better than cure. So even though we're selling sugar-free juices, and we always go back to our advocacy, which is we want to spread health and awareness through our brand. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna?
Is that work? No, I think so. Thank you. It's an important question to ask. I'm thinking about some of the challenges. For example, I start out as more like engineer, and back then it's really like male-dominated field. So even if I am like, I don't know, very good in the field and I'm having a very high grades and whatnot and a good diploma, when it comes to interviewing for jobs or tendering for specific projects in a consultancy firm, when they notice that you would be a woman, sometimes it's looked down upon, like, oh, well, what do you know? You know what I mean? So I encounter a lot of this attitude. I think now it's starting to shift already, but I think 10 years ago it was really much stronger that this industry is so dominated, not just by men, but also older men. So they would really look down on the type of thing you're saying, like, even though all your credentials are there, it's like, ah, yes, but you're a woman, so what do you know, kind of thing. So I find that in the current research, like sometimes it can be really stressful because there's multiple projects that I would be managing at the same time. And I think what motivates me is also a little bit like the why, and I think it's my passion for nature, like the care for nature. So I usually live in Canada, and I will be volunteering a lot for this. Actually, it's also an environmental stewardship organization. So I'm a stream keeper as well. So after work, I would be going there, I would be cleaning the river, we would be doing plantings there. I'm also working in a garden for native plants and teaching children about it. So it's something like, even if I want to clear my mind, I like to walk in nature, or this is the way I can find myself again. And then this sort of whirlwind of thoughts, it can like fall into place if you're with your hands in the soil. So I'm very happy also that later we do this sort of planting activity, because you realize that connection with the earth, like that's what matters. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Very good answer. Most of the time, no, we women, we still find ourselves in that kind of situation where it's still a man's world. But in this day and age, we shouldn't be feeling that way anymore, because to be honest, most of the very successful individuals in the world are women, in fact, right? So I can totally understand where you're coming from. I've been there in that situation also when I was in the public office long time ago. So I know where you're, what you're feeling. But these women, maybe not most of our audience now are entrepreneurs or are employees, no? But maybe some of them are not as successful as you are in your field. No? And I'm sure they were inspired by your stories, by what you have shared earlier. And how do you motivate them, no, to just go and follow their dreams? Because sometimes we're just too comfortable where we are right now, and we do not want to take that another big step, no, and take that risk. But you did, and that's why you're here, right? Inspiring us. So how would you motivate them? Aside from asking yourselves, why am I here? No? What motivates me? Yeah. Sometimes it's, even if they want to, even if they know what they want, the hardest part is to really just dive into it and just to start something. How did you do it?
Maybe I will start this time, if that's okay. I find that in this research project, I felt I tackled really a big issue. So it was a bit daunting maybe, or too overly ambitious. People are also telling me like, oh, you can't do it, you have to cut down the scope, it's not going to happen. But then I try to explain to them, it is not my intention to do it alone. And along the way, and I really like, because of that reason also, to come back to UP Los Baños, because then I know some people there, and it's a smaller town. So even if you don't know the right person yet, they might know the person that might be able to help you out, you know? So in that smaller community, it was I was well positioned to like get to know new people that maybe I couldn't hire them on my team. And it happened very organically. Like it was a friend that I had 8 years ago. His brother-in-law happened to be a drone pilot. And this drone pilot, he has a friend, and she works in a cafe, but she's also a professional photographer. And then there's another guy who is a student, and he's really interested in his community to interview the residents, how they're doing in flooding. So he's like an aspiring documentarian. I would never have met them, but it just happened that like they recommend another person, and then you start to assemble a team, and you really become friends, and you motivate each other. So everything in the last months, we work together so closely. You also go through a lot of difficult things in life, like difficult things that have been happening to the individuals, but you're there for each other and you really support each other. So I think the important thing to imagine is like, it's okay to have an ambition. It's okay also to be passionate and share that ambition. And then you try to assemble the team of people around you that are as motivated and that are willing to work with you. So you don't do it alone. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah. So partnership. Yes. Yes, Henry.
Well, for me, is that since I'm also just starting my career, right? For me, is that it's saying yes to opportunities that are given to you. So just to share, before I graduated, I thought my path was just following into the family business, right? Until an opportunity arose for me to also practice nutrition and to manage a business related to my field. So at first, there were some doubts, there was some hesitation because I knew that when I was gonna go into this, there was no security, unlike the family business that's already established. I'm going into a new business that I have to start from the ground up. But then my parents would tell me is that if the opportunity arises, you have to grab it because if you don't grab it, then it's already a failure. Yeah. So don't think about failing because if you don't start something, then you automatically fail. But if you do start something, then it could either fail or succeed. And if you do fail, you try and try again. Yeah. And it's also good not to have any regrets in the future. Yeah. So when opportunity arises, you take it. Thank you.
I love that. No, I mean, for us who are here right now and who are their audience, just saying yes to be here, that's already a decision that I hope would. I'm sure they've learned something that they can take away when they can go home, no? And who knows, this would really open an opportunity for them, no, to make themselves and their families and their lives better. Please.
So I think it really depends on where you're coming from. Back then, when I was a younger entrepreneur, I'd tell people to just jump into entrepreneurship without thinking about it. But that's because I'm very low maintenance. My mom was a missionary worker, as you know, so I didn't really have a house to go home to. Everything that I would earn from my salary, it needs to go to rent, it needs to go to laundry. Everything else I have to pay for. So there's no like safety net for me. But at the same time, I had very low needs. I could eat cup noodles, which I will not do anymore. Nutrition daw eh. Yeah, every day. Sorry, not cup noodles, but the instant noodles. Mas mahal yung nasa cup eh. Dapat yung nasa plastic lang. So, I could do that every day when I was younger. So, low maintenance. That's why I could jump into things. But, if you're taking care of a family, you have other considerations. If you're the breadwinner, you have other considerations. But, if you still want to fulfill your dream, do a small action every week. Like, what are you gonna do? Just a little bit at a time. Don't quit your job. Your job supports you and your family. Be thankful for it. I'm really grateful for what I have right now, but I also appreciate that people who have jobs, it's also amazing. Do keep those jobs, especially if you're part of a company that's meaningful. So, and that helps its people and is purposeful as well. But if you want to do something, do it on the side, volunteer during the weekends, just do an action point. Kahit maliit. Do like, attend something like this. This could be your check for the week, and then next week, you could do a volunteer work. So, unti-unti, until you find your way, until you find your tribe, the friends who can be along with you in the ride, until you can jump. So, but you don't have to do it right away.
So take small steps at a time, right? Just do something. Just act. No, don't just stay at home. Or sometimes we feel so depressed and low, and I just want to sit here and watch TV and just act. No, thank you so much. No, and I think what I like about what you said also, Reese, is that count our blessings. There are no small blessings, and if you just like maybe allot 5 minutes of our time a day, even during prayers, counting our blessings, we will be amazed on how much blessings we have. That most of the time we just take it for granted. And by the way, hindi po kailangan kami lang yung mag-usap-usap dito. If you have questions, please do so. Kasi sa totoo lang, I wasn't prepared, so wala ako talagang nilista ng mga questions. But I was just so amazed listening to them. So I was not able to write down my questions. So if you have any questions, please maximize the time that we have with our speakers. Sabi nga po ni Hannah, don't miss the opportunity. We have very good speakers here. Anyone? Any takers? You're so quiet already. Ngayon ayaw nyo na tumingin sa akin kasi baka kayo yung tawagin ko. Parang yung mga pag nag-aaral tayo sa school, di ba? Pagka recitation, no? Hindi natin tinitingnan yung teacher natin kasi baka matawag sa recitation. Anyways, we're talking about sustainability as well. And most often than not, when we talk about sustainability, we just thought that sustainability is just about the environment, no? But here we're talking about upcycling mga materials that we thought parang hindi na ginagamit. It's just a waste and it's just there. But here you are being very innovative and doing something out of the materials that are for others are waste already. In Hannah, we're talking about food sustainability, farm to market, talking about organic food. Yes, of course, you're an urban planner and you love the environment. So that's, there you go, environment. But with kasi minsan, there's too much on our plate, no? Lalo na women. Kaya nga sometimes women are really superheroes because we need a lot of superpowers. Because we play a different roles. We are a mother, we're students, we're entrepreneurs, etc. Ang dami nating roles and responsibilities. So for them, most of our probably are on the same boat as well, our audience, diba? So how do you think can they have that kind of advocacy na, kasi nga dati we're just thinking that we just need to take care of our environment when we talk about sustainability. But now there are different perspectives when we talk about sustainability. So what are the things that they can do on their own, in their perhaps backyard, in their family? How can they teach? What are the things that they can teach their children?
I can take it first. So, there are many ways. Kasi even if we're busy, that means we're living our lives. And as we're living our lives, there are areas where we can improve it a bit, make it a bit more sustainable, do things a little bit differently. Because to me, sustainability has many aspects, as you mentioned. We could take care of the trees, we could plant more trees, we could be more nutritious and healthier with our food and really think intentionally about our plates. We can be participating in sustainable fashion, using what we already have. So, madaming aspects. But when it comes to our own lives, sometimes ang hirap isipin. But it can really start with the small things. I'll speak on the side of fashion. So for us, even if I sell products, so this is very counterintuitive. Even if I sell products, I only convince people to only buy with intention. So be intentional with your purchase. What does that mean? If you don't need it, don't buy it. If you're gonna buy something anyway, choose a company that advocates for the same values you advocate for. So, sustainability, environmental protection, artisan livelihood. So you can choose R2R, but you can also choose the other local brands out there. That's totally fine also. So you can start there. But again, you don't have to buy. You can just look at your closet, see what's there, and use it again and again. Because actually, a big part of the waste in fashion are unused clothing. The stuff that we already have, but don't use. Kasi natuwa lang tayo, di ba, binili natin siya, ganon, but we haven't touched it at all. But if we only use our clothes again, it sounds very simple, right? But if you just use your clothes, you can already be part of the solution. So kahit ganon kasimple, we just don't think about it so much, but if we're intentional about it, even the little things count.
Ouch! Ako yung pinaka-guilty. I feel like you're talking to me. No, but that's true, di ba? Like, well, when I was working, and I was a hard worker, especially when I was in the office. Sometimes 24 hours kulang. But I'm too emotional when buying. Feeling ko, pinaghirapan ko to. Dapat naman ma-enjoy ko yung pinaghirapan ko, di ba? So, parang for me, yun yung aking stress reliever. Go to the mall and shopping. Diba? So, yeah, it's true. That's, that's very powerful even if you feel like it's just a small thing. But be intentional in your purchases. Matutuwa yung asawa ko dito. Naririnig mo. Okay. Hannah?
Well, I think in terms of nutrition and food, it's also being mindful, like throughout the week, how often do I eat out, right? So, right? So, being sustainable is also not just supporting our local farmers, but also are we reducing food waste, right? Because a lot of households, right? Inopen niya yung ref, ang daming nabubulok, ang daming cannot be eaten anymore, right? So before you eat out, check first what's in your fridge. Is there something I can eat? Is there something I need to consume first, right? And one of the practices that my mom does in our house is that everything in the ref is listed down. So she'll say, oh, there's chicken, there's pork and all. That way she knows, oh, these are the foods that I have and these are the food I can cook with. Yeah. So it's always reducing eating out and also eating more home cooked meals at home. Because not only does it reduce food waste, it helps support your local farmers, and also at the end of the day, it will also benefit you because you'll be healthier. You'll be less sick, you'll be more active, and since we're all busy, right? Sometimes you may feel, oh, why am I so tired? Why am I so parang, I always need coffee to function. It always goes back to check your nutrition, check what you're eating. Is the food you're eating giving you the necessary energy you need to function for the day? Because if not, then everything starts with your food at home. Right? So thank you.
Ouch again.
Same. Parang nagtatamaan lang tayo. Next, ikaw naman.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Anna.
I think the most important themes are already mentioned for like individuals. It's on consumption. It's on also waste. So I think it's important to think of every step in the cycle in that. And some things that came to mind when you were talking about the clothes and the unused clothes that maybe that go to waste is also I look a lot. I think this is one of those unseen labors for women, right? Who is doing the mending when there's holes in the clothes? It's usually us, right? Like my father did it because he was taught, but then I'm like, not many men know how to mend clothes. So I think it's also a skill we should pass on and actually creatively mend our clothes. I'm just looking at your beautiful stitching here. Like, say you would have a hole in your clothes and you would stitch it like that. It would be amazing. It would actually be an asset for your clothing, and you would be proud to wear it again. And for the food waste, the other thing I wanted to mention is like, say in your home you have some plants, either indoor plant, outdoor plant. What I like to grow is also some flowering plants, so it may attract the butterflies or bees. But also, you could use your food waste for composting, right? And it can really enhance your garden and fertilize your soil. So there are ways that actually, small ways you can really contribute to biodiversity in the environment. So thank you.
Galing, no? Imagine all aspects we've been we're talking about fashion, clothing, we're talking about food, and we're talking about environment, diba? Now, parang ang galing talaga ni Mrs. Mama, ni Dr. Cynthia. She covered everything, no? With our speakers, with our amazing speakers. So, you don't have to ask questions, but perhaps some of you might also want to share your experience. Would love to hear from you, from our audience. Huwag po kayong mahiya. Wala po itong bayad, pero libre po yung food nyo, kaya dapat you have to earn your merienda. Anybody? Baka may gusto. Yes, ma'am, please. Thank you. If you can kindly introduce yourself.
I'm the older sister of Dr. Cynthia Mama. And I seldom, she doesn't know I'm Thelma Paris. Paris. I'm, I could say that there's a new term now for a person who specializes on gender issues. And I'm a gender specialist in agriculture in the International Rice Resource Institute for more than 10 years. So what was my role? Because we all know, because you talk about women empowerment, and to make them economically empowered, right? But that is also our purpose, to be able, because women, even if they are visible in agriculture, they remain invisible to the eyes of the farming, in the farming communities, especially those scientists who recommend technologies. For example, they recommend high-yielding varieties, they recommend other techniques in agriculture, but they do not ask women what they want. So my role is to ensure that they hear the voices of women, not only from the Philippines, but the other countries in Southeast and South Asia. But we Filipinas, are better off compared to other countries because we are better educated. And we always, of course, talk about these many gender issues, like lack of access to resources and so forth. But I'm proud to be a Filipina, actually, because we are empowered to make decisions. And let us also not take for granted that we have supportive men behind us, especially those who have husbands who support their wives to pursue their education, because education is a very important way to be empowered. And so I have a different world. I'm in agriculture, but this is linked to biodiversity and sustainability. And I'm now working in many AMIA villages. These villages we're teaching these men and women to be resilient to climate changes and to how to adapt to these climate change risks. So we have also different projects for women, not me, but the Department of Agriculture, like diversity in farming systems, raising chickens, vermiculture, compost, and so forth, so that women can be recognized as farmers, and now they're also members of the cooperatives. And we are going to do more, like training them on financial literacy, and also how to be treated as a member of the board, for example, not just a token, because we tend to count, how many women and how many men, and that's it. So we want to ensure that they are mainstream and not marginalized. So I congratulate all the three of you, because I was about to ask the question, was there a time in your life or when you wanted to give up? And I think all of you had one trait, and that is persistence. Because if you persist, and then it will take time, but then at the end of the day, you can just look at yourself at the mirror and say, I did it, isn't it? You just give a tap at the back. And that is my journey too. That when the breeders started to include women, especially in Eastern India, where women are not given a voice, and then they decided to ask the women, and they said, you did it. And that, congratulations to all of you. And of course to Enchanted Kingdom for giving this opportunity to these women, empowered women, and as champions.
Thank you so much from the ate of Dr. Cynthia, because you did not say, you didn't mention your name yata, ma'am, or did I miss it? But anyways, thank you so much. And we are all very proud Filipinas here. So, on that note, can you please tap your shoulder and say, you did it? It's all you do it. Diba? You did it. Yeah. And you still have a lot to do. So, umpisa pa lang to. Yes, ma'am.
No, before closing, alam mo ako parang teacher din ako. I don't allow people to just leave. We also need feedback. May natutunan ba kayo?
Yes!
Anong key takeaways nyo? And what inspired you? I mean, we need that too, because these are all inspirational speakers. Please give them a warm applause. And I know you also have a story to tell, but please give us feedback whether this session was very useful and what inspires you to move forward and continue to be champions of biodiversity and sustainability.
Enchanting afternoon po sa ating lahat. So, it is very, very inspiring po na mapakinggan po lahat ng inyo pong stories, the stories of talagang hope, stories of inspiration. And before I ask the question, let me introduce myself. I am Kate Ashley Sibal from the Lion City Youth Incorporated, a non-government youth organization here in Santa Rosa. And just to share po, just a quick background, kami po sa Lion City Youth Incorporated will be launching this first aquaculture initiative, the Hito Farming. Maybe next month, we will hopefully by God's grace, ma-launch po namin siya successfully. And of course, this project, this aquaculture project will not be possible without the support and love, of course, of our Mayor Arlene B. Arcillas and Vice Mayor Arnold B. Arcillas. So the very goal of this Hito farming is to gain profit, to generate profit so that our youth organization can expand its projects in the community. And aside from that, the goal is to really employ out-of-school youth. And so that we can help them in simplest ways. First is by equipping them the skills, no, for the aquaculture, for the sustainable livelihood project. And second is to help them return to school and to help them generate income, additional income for their families. So we are very inspired with my girls here that is really serving the community at their very young age. So we came up to this question that kagaya po sa amin ng mga nagsisimula pa lang po na magbigay ng serbisyo sa ating pong komunidad. What is your advice po for our young hearts, no? Marahil bata pa po ang aming mga puso, subalit patuloy po itong nag-aalab para sa bayan. So what is your just a short advice for us youth, no, so that we can keep the fire burning and to really make this initiative, our first aquaculture initiative, successful in the future. Thank you so much po.
Beautiful.
Ganda. Ang ganda naman doon. Thank you so much. And nararamdaman ko yung pag-aalab talaga. Kasi I think you have the passion already. So, the passion is very hard to get. And the fact that you have it, and you brought your team members who also have it, is already very important. So, my advice is not about the passion. So, sino sa inyo ang mahilig sa math? Wala. Okay. Quick lang. Ako din before. So, when I was younger, I hated math kasi hindi talaga ako magaling sa math. Until R2R almost closed actually. 2016, we almost closed. And when we got the chance to live, I told myself, hindi na ako magagalit sa math. I have to make math my friend. I have to know business numbers. Because there's no way around it. To keep the fire burning, you have to keep the business going. Otherwise, mawawala siya kahit gaano ka passionate. So, that's my very practical advice. Walang mahilig sa math right now, start it. Because I only learned it when I was already 32 years old. You're very far from that age, I'm sure. So, you have more chances of winning. Ako 32 na nung natuto. And ngayon, CFO na ako in many companies. So, there is a chance, it's never too late. So, kahit hindi ka magaling sa math, tingin mo, challenge that. Especially if you're starting a business that will help your community, do it excellently. And to do it excellently, you have to take away any preconceived notions of your limitations. Yung limitasyon mo, tanggalin mo yan. You're like, okay, the business needs revenue, it needs to be profitable. That means those are all numbers. So keep the fire, but do it excellently.
Yes, Anna? Okay, you wanna go first?
If that's okay. I am really excited to hear about your project. So I suppose it's in Laguna de Bay, right? Your aquaculture project. So I'm thinking, while you're doing it and as you're starting it, I'm thinking it's actually not an issue for what I'm seeing always in Philippines. But please always document everything you are doing and try to gain some visibility for your project. Because I think later on, it's not just that you could use it maybe to ask for a funding for a different donor to say, look, this is what we did. This is how many people have been involved. This is the kind of plants we're using. This is how many people were feeding from that project. Different really key, try to gather the evidence and show it. And then also, if you are starting to gather like this, maybe you could pinpoint throughout the project, that's what's working and that's what's not working. So that in the future, maybe another community wants to learn from what you're doing because, oh, they see it on Facebook. Actually, they could ask you and you would be able to advise them. Try that one and try it not like this. So yeah, try to somehow document and keep track of it. So I feel this is really important because also with young people, the other thing is like now all the paths in life are open for you. What if the person who's leading the project now is going to leave and they're going to pursue something very different in their life? It would be really nice if whoever steps in, they can know what's been going on so far. So documentation, I mean, may seem silly, but I think it's very important. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to add to that is that since as a fellow Gen Z, right? So marketing is actually a very big part of that. Now, like what you said is visibility, right? We should use social media now to help boost our local community, right? An example is recently I saw on social media there was someone who was selling vegetables, live selling vegetables online. And I'm like, wow, you can do that now in TikTok. Like someone was live selling, oh, come buy some carrots and all of that. It was like a farmer doing that. So that's something you could go to. Don't be afraid to use social media to your advantage. And what's very important is you have to build good communication skills and good connections. So as you have events, as you join more events like this, right, take the opportunity to build your connections, right? And to talk with people who you can partner with as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. We have someone who wants to
Yes, I
share.
have a very young lady here.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Noel. I'm Miss daughter right here. I was very inspired today by all of the talk that you made. I learned a lot from business, wellness, and nature. I'm a UP Diliman student, currently a second year, and I am in communication research. So my main question is that as young as me, I have encountered many things that are challenging because I am a woman. So may that be not my classmates being able to believe in me because I'm a woman. What is a moment that as a woman you were challenged by, and what did you do to overcome it specifically? So you.
Question? Anyone?
For me, I'm just thinking about one of the examples I mentioned earlier, like tendering for specific projects or working with a specific like team leader, and the way like I don't know is perceived in that field, like oh women, what do they know? You know, would know less. So I try just kind of to steer away from that individual, and actually I find a lady who is like the one I want to partner with. So it was actually that she could be the person I try to create projects with. I'm not saying like you should be rejecting like working with men, but it was just more about the attitude, you know what I mean? So I find I was searching for someone, like navigating the situation, enduring, but then in the end I'm looking for someone who's more believing in me or trusting in me, so I could actually gain more confidence in myself, and based on that I find better projects. I am able to pursue better my work because I'm working with someone who's also believing in me, and we can apply for different opportunities that way. Because I feel if you have an employer or if you have like a team leader, let's say, and they don't believe in your skills, you're going to not see so many opportunities. So it's not even that, like as you said, like if you don't shoot, you will miss anyway, right? But I feel like if you have someone who believes in you, you might try more things. Even you might fail, but at least you tried different things. So I feel that way, more opportunities come on your path. So if you're a young person and you feel like the mentors in your life, let's say, or your employers, they're the ones that not believing in you. Okay, you endure it for now, but try to seek someone who's encouraging you more. That's what I would say.
Surround yourself with people who would make you better person, right?
That's right.
Halas.
Yeah. So I can relate to you because when I was studying, there's always this double standard that when men are leaders, they're looked upon, right? But when women are leaders, they always say, oh, they're so bossy, right? So my advice to you is that never let other people belittle you, right? If the opportunity is given to you, you grab it, right? And always don't be afraid to shine, even in a male-dominated field, right? Especially in college, right? If you can be the leader, you be the leader. Why? It's because you will benefit from it. It's your leadership skills that will be honed, right? And never be afraid to also be on the spotlight, right? So as women, right, before maybe in the olden times, we're always the helpers, we're always there to just support, but never be afraid to go to the spotlight because it's also our way of using the talents, right, that God has given us, right? We want to maximize that for the betterment of our country as well. Thank you.
Okay.
I had lots of experiences. It hasn't really, I thought it has changed. I think it's changed a little just because they can't say it out loud. So they're just gonna be passive aggressive about it. So, but before they used to say it out loud. Like all of the things that's in their minds, they used to say those. Now they just keep it there. It still happens. So first, as a mom of boys, I'm gonna do a better job to like raise my kids to be better men. Para sana in the future we won't have these things anymore. I'm gonna be so mad at them if one of their classmates say that about them. I'm gonna be like, guys, why? So, but yeah, many experiences. It's very sad that we always have to be the one adjusting. Like, let's assert ourselves more, less bossy, less like that. So, I have learned throughout the years to balance it. Like, I have to be more assertive, but I also have to do it gently. Gently assertive. I learned to play the politics of it because sometimes you have to get things done. That's just the reality of it sometimes. Especially if you're partnering with somebody and you really need that partnership, but it's very toxic environment, it's very male-driven, and not in a welcoming way. I learned how to play that still and not to dismiss anyone just because that's how they grew up. So I'm gonna try to learn to have common ground and see if that interaction will gradually change someone. Because I know it's probably an unpopular belief that people change, but I really think they can. If they want to, if they acknowledge that they need to. And I've experienced in my lifetime a lot of men who have actually changed. Like the way they think. They started apologizing for the things that they've done before. So I think it happens. And unfortunately, it's kind of on us to like adjust until some of them come over to this side. We do have allies though, as Anna said. So look for those allies also. I have a lot of allies, men and women. I've learned how to use their company to create influence.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
answering
so
me.
much. Thank you very much.
We
Okay,
still
I-
have an activity before we close.
Yeah.
But this one, I cannot say no to because this is a unique and rare question from one man.
Sigurado kayong man. Something just popped up in my mind. So there's a saying that my name is J. Estepona. I'm a member of the Laguna Chamber of Commerce and the better half of Ready to Harbor. Now, something came out of my mind, no? Kanina lang. So I just have to ask you, successful man. Kasi it's a saying, there's always a saying that for every successful man, behind every successful man is a loving and caring woman. Now, may I ask, what or who is behind the successful woman in you?
alam niya kung sino.
Oo. I can answer that, but there are several and depends on the time of my life, right? I mentioned my mom already. She is the strong woman behind this other strong woman. She actually passed away like 3 years ago, but still, all of the lessons that she has given me and the life that she's provided still lives in me now. So that's one. But it's true. It's hard to do things well if you don't have your support system. I have an amazing husband. He's also an entrepreneur. He's also a co-founder in Rags to Riches, actually. That's how we got together. That is a love story for another day. Yeah, it's building businesses and building relationships. So yeah, that's how we got together. And he's very supportive, not in a I support you kind of way, but for example, the two of us, we really take care of the kids almost equally in many ways. Like when you were talking about food, for example, that's him thinking about that. That's not me because I like junk food, I don't like vegetables. I'm so sorry, I will change. But yeah, so siya yung nag-iisip ng nutrition for the children. I think about the school, he thinks about the doctor's appointments. So all of that are like mental load that I get to unload because otherwise it's gonna be all in my head. Like all of the scheduling, that's crazy. So yeah, we share that. My husband is amazing. My mother-in-law is also amazing. Like, I am gonna say, like, I have the best mother-in-law in the world. She just had her birthday. And she's gonna have another birthday celebration because she deserves it, everyday birthday, ng Sunday. So, yeah, that's my village. That's my little village that really supported me and got me to where I am.
Thank you. Anna?
Yeah. Well, for me, wala pang husband eh. But for me, it's my parents. Yeah. So growing up, since I grew up in a Chinese household, so it's very strive for excellence. Yeah. But it's something that, looking back, it's something I appreciate is because my parents always told us that we can be whoever we want to be, right? If you can't do it, you do it pa rin. Yeah. So we were, yes, yeah. So we were really taught na you have to strive for excellence, right? Never thinking na, oh, I can't do this, I'm not good at this. If you're not good at this, like what Miss Rhys said, right? You practice it, right? You have to build on your weaknesses and also use your strengths in that. So my parents were growing up, they always told us na you can be whoever you want to be, right? And it's really learning to balance everything, balancing your academics, if you're still studying, your extracurriculars, and even now, now that I'm working, one of the things my parents always say is you go back to your purpose, right? And since I grew up in a Chinese family, but also a very Christian family. So sabi nila is, you go back to your purpose and it's always to glorify God. To use your God-given talents for the Lord, right? Because everything here in this world will fade. But it's only what we do for the Lord that will last forever. Yeah, so thank you.
I'll respond first, I suppose. Thank you for that question. I think it's always really important to mention, and you don't get a chance often, I think, to share that too. So it's like a personal question. I think for me, what came to mind instantly is like my father. So he grew up with 9 sisters, so he's very well attuned to like, how do you call it? Like, he knows what women are going through, you know? Like, he has a lot of very strong sisters. And I think, yeah, as you said, like, I think I felt very supported in my parents growing up, even though that's hard for them because they came from kind of a poor region and they worked very hard so that me and my siblings, we would be able to go to university, and we were the first in our family to be able to go to university because we're all sort of curious and we want that pursuit of knowledge, so we wanted that sort of education to bring a better life. So I think what's important is to pay back to our families. And then the other part is for every day, I would really say I feel very supported by my partner because some days, like, I don't know, yesterday for field work, I would leave at 4 a.m. and I come back home at 10:30 p.m. It's like quite normal, but you are so exhausted. And I don't know, I feel very supported by my partner. In days that I work very long and I like just behind my computer all the time or something, he would make me breakfast or he'll give me some fruit or coffee, like, okay, here, you can do it. I believe in you, and it is really important to have someone like that in your life.
You also get a massage after a long day. Thank you so much. We can take one more question because I was told that last 2 minutes, and then afterward, we'll just request our panelists that when they answer, they can also give their closing remarks for our audience. Yes,
Hi,
please.
good afternoon. My name is Yancy Islam Andrade, and I am from Project Sinag Incorporated. So, Project Sinag Incorporated is an environmental non-government organization. And just to give you a little background, we started year 2017, and it just rebranded year 2024. And Project Sinag, since it is ruled or it is led before by men, and this is just the first administration that is led by women, by me and my executive director, Micah. So this is our first fiscal year that is led by women. So we were pressured not because it is led by men before, but we are the one who are setting the standards, an expectation, and we are setting the rules because for sure, since this is the first time it is led by women, we hope that in the more generations, future generations, it also will be led by women. So my question is, what is the one piece of advice you were given as a young woman that you were glad you ignored? Because again, we are pressured today because we don't know, we don't have a women to look up to because we are the one who are setting the standard to our organization as a women who are leading our organization. Thank you.
That's another interesting question. Yeah. One thing that instead of you following the advice, tama ba? That you're glad you did not follow. Is that correct? Is that the correct question? Yeah. Do you have that?
Yeah, I think I do. So, I think the advice that was given to me, and I think it's still being given now, and people who give it mean well, is that you can do it all. I don't think anyone can do it all. I think there's no shame in asking for help. For as long as you know, I mean, you have to acknowledge that you need help and you reach out to the people who can help you. I think doing it all is a myth and a budol that people tell us so that we will do it all. But then if we do it all, what will they do? So we need to do it everything together, that together na lang tayo, diba? Kesa us only. So yeah, I think that's the advice that I'm glad I chose to ignore because I do ask for a lot of help from the people who know me, from my tribe, my community.
Please, do you mind also giving us already your closing remarks, an inspirational note for our audience?
I
before we
think
end?
it's along those lines, so thank you. That's a really beautiful question to end with. I think as women, we are told that we could be everything, we could do everything. I believe we could do anything, but not everything. So for everything, we have each other. We have our community of women, we have our global community, we have our allies, and people who will be our allies in the future. So we got to lean on each other because there's no one person who can carry the weight of the world. I know we feel that way already, so might as well share it with each other.
It's very lovely. Thank you so much. Yeah. We need each other. No, we cannot live in this world alone. Yeah. Thank you very much, Reese. Hannah?
Okay. Well, for me, on the top of my mind was, people used to say that as women, you shouldn't be too good because you need the man to also shine. Yan. So in Tagalog sabi na, huwag ka masyadong magaling, wala nang kaya sa'yo. Diba? Yan. And that's, yun. So, since I'm young and I don't have a husband or partner yet, but it's something na I believe is that you can never be too much. Like, you shouldn't let yung society standards na, oh, just because you're a woman na, you can't be good. you can't be good in your field. Now you have to be less so that the man feels more, right? But I believe is that the right man will appreciate you. The right man will also support you, even if you're excelling well in your specific field. Yeah.
The right man will never be insecure of your
Yes.
success.
Gusto ko yung
But will be
nagtutulakan
proud of
sila.
you. Diba?
Yung mga bata.
It's like, see, sabi ko sa'yo, wag yun eh.
Tama, tama. Very nice, very nice. How about you, Anna?
Oh yes, so I'm not sure if it has.
Sorry about that. Is
Yeah,
that
the
your
close-
closing remarks already, Anna? Or
Oh.
do you still want to add some more?
Okay, just lastly,
Sorry.
last thing to add is that as women, right, let us also not look downly on like household work, yan, like cooking for our families. Just like what I emphasized a while ago is our family's health and it relies on us. Yeah. So don't think that being a housewife, cooking for your family is a small task. Na, oh, I'm a businesswoman. I don't do that. No. Why? It's actually a big task because you are the one who's going to raise the standard for your family, and you will also be the one to help with your family's nutrition. So always focusing on health and wellness. Thank you, everyone.
You must set your own standards. Give a round of applause to Hannah, please. Yeah, set your own standards. You do not have to be pressured with the standards of the world. Right. Yes, Anna, please.
Yes, I was trying to come up with an example of an advice that I ignored, and I'm kind of glad that I did. And I think it's sort of the advice that I ignored that brought me to the Philippines first time. So maybe that is the nice one that I'm very grateful I ignored it. Because people, back then, I had finished my degree, I worked for a couple of years, and I was thinking I really would like to do masters because I'm very interested how engineering could help us adapt to climate change. So I applied for a scholarship to come study in Philippines. And people said, oh, don't you want to study in Europe? Don't you want to study in North America? Are you sure you want to do this? And I said, look, they are most affected by climate change now. They really know from practice what it is they want to do. And I'm so glad I came to Philippines. Back then, I've never been to Philippines, and I have no idea how warm and friendly are everyone around me. What great team, what great tribe I would meet. What amazing opportunities would follow from that. The beautiful nature, the beautiful people. I'm so glad that that is what brought me to Philippines. And like, I don't really mind what they say about like, oh, you should get your education there. Or, I don't know. I think we can learn from place. That is what matters to me. And for the closing remarks, if I can go into that, I think there's 3 themes we should always focus on. And whenever we do a planting, I like to whisper it to the seed or to the seedling. And it is harmony and curiosity and compassion. So in harmony with the nature, curiosity to always try new things and also question our assumptions. And then compassion with each other. And I think the last one, especially in last week, think about it more and more because it's very difficult times in the world. And we need to find an understanding with one another to be able to go forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Compassion, sometimes it's an understatement, right? No, we tend to overlook the importance of compassion. Gosh, Aaron, this is amazing. Do you believe me na I've been here on Earth, I don't want to say kung ilang taon na po ako, but I've been through a lot also. And today is really just a very inspiring day for all of us. And by the way, I'm already tasked to give my closing remarks as a Vice President for External Affairs of the Laguna Chamber of Commerce. So, kaya tinutuloy-tuloy ko na yun yung task sa akin. But aren't you so happy and glad that you made the right decision to be here? Yes? Can I hear it louder? Yes. Please, that's one thing I want to impart on you. Please always say yes to opportunities, as Hannah told us earlier. No, there are a lot of things that I learned today. Like first, be intentional. No, oftentimes ako hindi ganon. No, I'm being emotional with the decisions I make, with my shopping, with my food trips, with everything that I do in my life. I always feel like privileged to say na I've worked so hard, so I deserve this, di ba? No, nakakalimutan natin minsan na kailangan talaga laging purpose yung ginagawa natin. And do something, no? Even just a small task. Yung tingin natin maliit na bagay, pero at least you're doing something. Diba? Hindi yung you just keep on wondering, what if I do this? What if I do that? I will do it tomorrow. Just do something today. Diba? No matter how small it is. Second, look for partners. Third, no? Look for partners. It's okay, as mentioned by Reese, to ask for help. No, we cannot do anything. We can't do anything, but we cannot do everything. I like that when she said that create your own little village. Kasi we cannot really live alone. Kailangan natin yung isa't isa. And this one, yung pag-attend natin sa mga ganitong okasyon, this is, I think, one of the the things that we can do for ourselves that would definitely improve our lives, the way we think, no? And our future. So, you have to create your own little village, not just your family or your friends. With me, I have the Laguna Chamber of Commerce, yung pong mga mentors namin, like sila Dr. Cynthia, it really helps me a lot, no? And our spiritual family. No? So, you keep on expanding that little village of yours. People, surround yourself with people who could inspire you, who could make you a better person. And then, when you are struggling, go back to the why. Why are you doing things, no? Hugutin mo ulit yung mga pinaghuhugutan mo kung anong purpose mo, bakit mo to ginagawa in the first place. So that you can again motivate yourself and inspire yourself to just keep on going, no matter how hard it is. And do everything excellently. Dapat sabi nga ni Hannah kanina, if we do things, hindi pwede na. Yung success ng rags to riches, di ba? Hindi pwede na. Dapat ito ay, ito lang, simple lang, pero dapat, ang goal natin is ito ay maging isang obra maestra. Lahat ng ginagawa natin. And then, draw your inspiration, not just from your loved ones, but draw your inspiration from God. Di ba? We have to really surrender ourselves to God because we cannot do it on our own. We draw our strength and our guidance and our inspiration from the Lord. And then, always count your blessings. Every day when you wake up, palagay ko marami naman sa inyo, yun na rin ang ginagawa. No? Paggising niyo pa lang, Lord, salamat, gising ako, healthy ako, salamat katabi ko yung asawa ko, salamat sa mga anak ko na healthy sila, salamat may pagkain ako on my table. Thank you, Lord. Diba? It will make you feel good. And yung pong tingin natin na hindi enough will already make it enough when you count your blessings. And then, of course, pray. But don't just pray. No, I hope that you will also find the time to listen to Him para mabigyan niya tayo ng instruction so that we can be guided accordingly, no? Properly. Yung guidance natin, kunin natin kay Lord. Sabi nga, I just wanted to share in closing my favorite verse, no? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him and He will make your path straight. Everything that we are now, our talents, our time, everything that we have, let's surrender it to Him. After all, everything came from Him. Happy Women's Day, everybody! Maraming salamat for joining us today. And of course, we want to greet and sing happy birthday to our President, Mrs. Cynthia